Okay, so as you can see here, I just continued an arrow above the same thing, the Greek the Nelson's Biblical Encyclopedic Index, and I wrote the Greek definition because there is no Hebrew definition for the word promises. There is one for promise, but not promises. So we're going to continue on. So after we did that, the next thing is going to be the occurrences in the Bible. So number 5, the first question is, how often is it used? Now you can write it all in one box. For example, like this, you can break it down. It just depends on the space that you have. So here we're going to use, we're going to continue to write it out. So again, using the strong concordance, we came up with that it was used, the word promises. Let me grab that again so you guys can see. And you can see I write in all my things, make notes, things that I find, things I find online that may not necessarily be in here. So again, after counting for the word promises, we counted that it was used 13 times. So we're going to write that here. And normally you can just pick any color that you want to use. So I'll use, I just used orange. Let's go with maybe pink. And I'll do a box right above. So I'll just do an arrow. And again, you guys can format this any way that you like. There is no right or wrong way. My showing is just a guide on how I do my word studies. So I'm going to make this box kind of big because I'm going to try to fit as much of number 5 as I can in this box. So I'm going to stretch it out like that. And of course you guys can use rulers, make your lines all fancy, whichever works for you. So I do my box like that, and I'm going to write number 5 right here, and then I forgot to put number 4, well 3 and 4. So here I'll put 4, and for number 3, it normally I just list the names of each. So this is where I'll make my note so you guys can see. And it's just a side box. So I'll put the Greek word, and then I'll spell it here. It's E-P-A-G-G-E-L-I-A. And then I'll draw a line. And then I put Hebrew hyphen no word unless use promise. So I'll do it like that. Just a side note for myself. And it'll be number 3. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So number 5, it asks all the questions. So the occurrences in the Bible. So I can write that right above. Occurrences in the Bible. Like that. And I'll zoom in a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better. So the first question asks, how often is it used? So I'll put it is used 13 times in the Bible. And it says, in which books is it found? And then you put, it is found in the following books. And again, how I find that is I just write down from the Strong Concordance all the books that were listed. So here would be Romans, 2nd Chronicles, Galatians, Hebrews, and second Peter. So that is what we're going to write right here. So you can find it in Romans, 2nd Corinthians, Galatians, Hebrews, and 2nd Peter. So like that. And then it says, which book is it used most? So again, for that, I just look through here to see which one has the most times that it used. And here it is in Hebrews. In Hebrews, it is used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in Hebrews. So I write right here, it is most used in Hebrews. And it says, where does the word first appear? So again, referencing to the Strong Concordance, the first time the word promises is used is in Romans 9:4. So then I write, it is first used in Romans chapter 9 verse 4. And then it says, where does the word first appear? And then where does it appear first in the book that I'm studying? So right now I'm studying the book of Genesis, and it's not used in Genesis. So I'll put, it is not used in the book I'm currently studying. And then it says, which writers does it, the question here. So we answered, how often does it occur? In which book is it found? In which book is it used most? Where does the word first appear? Where does it appear first in the book that you're studying? And which writer uses the word? So for that, that's what I use my Rainbow Study Bible, because I don't have it memorized who wrote all the books of the Bible. So I used this Holman Rainbow Study Bible, which I love. And again, if you guys are following the chronological study, you know that I list the references for this. So let's go back to the back and let's see. It starts out in Romans. So let's see. Romans. So Romans, you have the Apostle Paul. So writers who used this word was Apostle Paul, you have Romans, you have 2nd Corinthians, here's 2nd Corinthians. So 2 Corinthians was Apostle Paul also. You have Galatians. Let's see, guys. Galatians. So Galatians, also Apostle Paul. Hebrews. Hebrews, it says uncertain suggestions includes Apollos, Barnabas, Clement, Luke, Paul, Philip, Priscilla, or Silas. So we're just going to leave that blank. And then the last one is 2 Peter. And then you have the Apostle Peter. So then I'll put and Apostle Peter. So that is how I use my Rainbow Study Bible, you guys, for word studies. So the next part here is course list passages it can be found in. So I used ones down here for promise. So for promises, you can pick any of the ones from the concordance, as you can see here. So you can write some of those also, because these were focused on the ones down here was off of promise, so I can make a note here. And that's because I just liked the info that it came with. So you can add a little note. But for this one, you can get, let me grab another pen, you guys. Okay, I'll use my black pen. So we'll write here a side arrow. And then you can write verses used in, just like that. And then I'm going to write the verses. So Romans 9:4, Romans 15:8, 2 Corinthians 1:20, 2 Corinthians 7:1, Galatians 3:16, Galatians 3:21, Hebrews 6:12, Hebrew 7:6, Hebrew 8:6, Hebrew 11:13. And of course, if there's like a lot of scriptures that it's used in, you would just pick a few to write down. This one is not too many, so I'm going to write them all. But again, it's not mandatory. You can write one or two. And 2 Peter 1:4. So I'll write that on the side. like that. And you see, as I did the word anxiety, I used some verses and I actually wrote them out. So that is an option that you can do once you finished your word study. You can go through these verses and pick out a few that stick out to you, that have some meaning to you, like I did for the word anxiety, and you'll write out the verses that it goes with. So again, it's totally up to you exactly how you want to do it. So after that, it is the root, meaning, and origin, which I showed on online. So it gave you underneath the definition, it gave you the origin of the word, and I'll write that next. Okay, so as you can see from online, underneath on Google, from the English dictionary definition, if you continue to scroll down, you guys, it gives you the origin. So it shows you that it's Latin, and it said pro. Underneath it, the definition was forward. Then it Latin, which is mentre, which meant send, and then it combined the words. So prometer, which put forth promise, and then promissum, which is something promised, and then today it's promise. So the core word for promises, of course, is promise. So I just write that there. And then the next part is the biblical usage, which I can show you guys again from Blue Letter Bible app, and how I used and get that information and write it. Okay, so have you seen how I get the biblical usage from the Blue Letter Bible app online? And then how I write it is I just add another line near where I get the Greek and Hebrew word. And then I just make sure that I have number 7 here for the biblical usage. And then you just outline it again in the color that it is. And that is so far what you have. So you have all of number 1, the word, the English definition, the synonyms and antonyms. Then I use my extra resource, which is my Nelson's Biblical Encyclopedic. I use that to get a little insight on other things, either based off the word, which it didn't have promises, but it had the word promise, and it gave some other verses and things like that. Then I went into my Strong Concordance to get the Greek and Hebrew word, but there was only a Greek word, not a Hebrew word. So I have the definition here. And then I went through and answered the questions for number 5, the occurrences in the Bible, and then list the verses that it is used in. Again, for this part, you can list 1 or 2. You can list them all depending on how many is there. For number 6, I use Google Dictionary when I found the definition to get the origin, and I write that here. And then the biblical usage I get from the Blue Letter Bible app. And then finally, the last thing of our word study is the application and evaluation. Pretty much, how can you apply this word in your life, your relationship with God, your relationship with others, and in church. And if you run out of space like this, what I normally do is I grab, either you can use a sticky note. For example, this one, it's big enough, or you can get a sheet of paper and you can take it out. And normally this is what I do. I like using my sticky notes for other things, so I normally use one of these. I get some washi tape, and all you have to do is get some washi. You're going to stretch it out at the top, as so. And what you do is you cut down the little bit of excess on both sides, like that. like that. So then it looks like this. Now again, it just depends on where you decide to put your paper. So you may have to put your washi on the side if you want to fit it here on the side. But I'm going to do mine at the top, I believe. Maybe not, because it's going to cover here. So I may put it... so you just kind of find where you want to put it. So I may go ahead and put it backwards like this, so that the washi's at the bottom. And I'm going to put it right here at the bottom of my page, since on this side it's pretty covered and I don't want to cover up anything. So what you do is you line up the paper like this, and you kind of just make sure that it's aligned, and then you fold over your washi like this. And it's just to add your paper. And then that's the last part. You will do your application and evaluation. So you can write right here, number 8, application and evaluation. Underline it, and then that'll be the end. And this of course is your personal thoughts over the entire word study, what you learned, what you got out of it. If you want to take some time to read through some of the verses and things like that that you got from the top where it's actually used, or some extra resources that you got some more information. But that is it. That is how you do a word study. This is the Promises word study. Again, I showed every Sunday I provide it in the group, and it comes with a word and a group of verses that you will verse map also. And that's it. So if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please leave them below. Thank you guys for watching. Again, these will be posted every Wednesday, the word studies. And it will go with the packet that I send out an email for my group. And again, this is how I do all my word studies, you guys. I showed you guys examples from before. You can do them on paper, just like this, and straight up and down. Nothing fancy. Again, you can do them in mind mapping. And it just depends on what all you find on the word and all the resources that you're going to use. I've kind of gotten in the rhythm of just using the Strong Concordance, my Rainbow Study Bible. I have other Bibles that I will look through later, or even like my Keyword Study Bible, to see if any of the footnotes have anything extra and that I can go back and add to. Again, if you want to write out any of the verses out completely that use the word, you can do that. But it's whatever works for you. There is no right or wrong way. Again, my way is just a guide and an option. There's plenty of ways out there, plenty YouTube videos that are out there that you guys can watch and get ideas from and put multiple things together to make it your own. But thank you guys for stopping in and watching my video. Always remember, if you're new to the channel, to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you guys can be alarmed when it's time for a new video that I've uploaded. And of course, for everybody, give the video a thumbs up, and I will keep the videos going. As September has started, I've said that I am going to be recording more videos, getting more things out there on a regular basis as much as possible. So again, thank you guys for all your words of encouragement. Thank you for everybody that is following on YouTube and in my Facebook group. I love reaching out to everybody. Again, I am not a preacher or a teacher by no means. Again, I just like sharing how I study God's word, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. So you guys have a great morning. Bye. And then again, you guys see the PDF file. So again, the word that you will be, you do your word study for is always at the top. This is the topic. And then when you go through your packet, again, above the word study packet, it always gives you the word that you will be using. And then the verses is underneath the verse map that you can verse map. Again, you can choose 1, you can choose 2, you can choose all 5. You know, sometimes it's 5, it's 3, it just depends on what's there. So everything that you need for the verse mapping or word study is provided in every packet so that you guys can follow along and work through them and learn how to do word studies and verse mapping. The August ones kind of got put on hold, so I will be adding those periodically throughout the month so that way we can get caught up from the ones from August, but the ones for September will be posted as scheduled.